All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Our next fighter making his way to the cage, Mike Martinez.
Welcome to the University of Mixed Martial Arts, coming to you from Club Nokia at LA Live. I'm Rich Slayton, joined by Andrew the Squid Martinez, calling for you tonight this 155-pound affair between Javier Garcia and Mike Martinez. Martinez coming out first tonight. The 23-year-old starts with Robot Fight and Fitness. He's a BJJ brown belt, earned that brown belt in just 3.5 years.
That's pretty goddamn fast. It's pretty goddamn fast.
Under Jiu-Jitsu coach Tim Peterson and Muay Thai coach David Herta, Mike Martinez so far has recorded 2 wins. Both of them finishes TKOs in round 2 and round 3. One of those coming here at the University of Mixed Martial Arts against Quincy Davis back in May of 2013. He dropped Quincy with a head kick before finishing on the ground. He puts together these really fantastic 2- and 3-piece combinations, really varied. He does like to lead with those low kicks, though, and as we saw last time against Jose Jovel with Ian Park, leading with those low kicks can be dangerous.
It can be super dangerous. You know, a lot of striking coaches do say, you know, you finish with your kicks and stuff, but the low kicks, you know, if done right, it's a good gauge of distance as well. You know, you can kind of frustrate a guy and get a guy to drop his hands. So if you can follow them up with more punches. They do present more opportunities. But you just gotta be careful. Like any other strike, there is a counter, so you gotta watch out.
Martinez is very confident in the pocket. We've seen from him in the past great head movement, good counter grappling. He's not afraid to throw because he's very confident, especially with that jiu-jitsu brown belt in his back. In the top game, he gets really tight. He loves to put the knee on the belly, a more traditional jiu-jitsu move, but we've seen him put that knee on the belly and throw punches from the top.
Yeah, he's definitely one of our more experienced jiu-jitsu guys we have in the U. I'm excited to see his progression. We haven't seen him fight in a little while, so you know, let's see if his brown belt level is now a black belt level.
Well, we'll see more from the well-conditioned, high-paced fighter Mike Martinez in a moment, but first, let's hear about Javier Garcia.
And his opponent making his way to the cage, Javier the Habanero Garcia.
Javier Garcia from Team CSW out of Covina, California, comes into tonight's fight with 4 wins and 2 losses, most recently a knockout loss back in September of last year. But don't let that knockout loss fool you. Javier Garcia, a very, very tough fighter, started training just about 2 years ago at a karate gym and then found his way into CSW under coach Ben Jones and also the War Master Josh Barnett.
Yeah, another team with great coaches. You know, Josh Barnett is no joke, really creative. You know, if anyone could come up with game plans against someone that has a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, Josh has that. The catch wrestling style is a good combative against BJJ. So it's a little bit different, a little different style. Like when a catch wrestler gets on top of jiu-jitsu style, there's a little clash there. So we'll kind of see who got the stronger grappling for sure.
Josh Barnett commented on Javier that it's his tenacity that's going to come out tonight at the fight. Before training, he was already a fighter. He already had that tenacity, but once he got trained, he's gotten sharp. Josh would categorize Javier Garcia as a Shivan Dragon, a very important old school card from Magic the Gathering. He's going to tap a lot of red mana and leave his opponent burned to a crisp. For our official introductions, let's go to the cage with Salvador Arellano.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our next fight is brought to you by Down to Scrap MMA Apparel, scheduled for 3 2-minute rounds in the 155-pound division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He steps into the cage with a record of 2 wins and no losses. Both wins coming by way of knockout. He stands at 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighing at 153 pounds, representing Robot Fight and Fitness from Silmar, California, Mike Martinez. And his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. a freestyle fighter. He comes to the fight with a record of 4 wins and 2 losses. 2 wins coming by way of knockout. He stands at 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighing officially at 154.8 pounds. Fighting with CSW from Covina, California, Javier the Habanero Garcia. Man in charge of the action, Ray Rothfelder.
Mike Martinez in the blue corner, Javier Garcia in the red corner for this lightweight affair. This is the University of Mixed Martial Arts. It starts here. Martinez takes the center of the cage. But first blood landed by Javier Garcia, a stiff left jab.
Nice little shot. Looks very comfortable. There's those kicks again. That's a nice liver kick.
Little outside leg kick, then liver kick combination by Mark Martinez, but the hands of Garcia letting go.
Fantastic hand. He hurt Martinez for sure, but Martinez is game.
Garcia expected to have a striking advantage in this fight tonight.
Definitely does. Very crisp, very tight, landing really good crosses every time he throws them.
A little bit of blood now, though, from the nose of Garcia.
Here's that first hook. Martinez is definitely taking a few shots, but he's game. Surprised he hasn't tried to take the fight to the ground with such a high-level BJJ background. He's being very game and working on his hands.
Well, that's part of what the amateurs are for here, you know, trying to work out different skill sets. But so far, that 1-2 of Javier Garcia is starting to land a lot.
Nice cross and follows the land. He definitely has Garcia a little wary.
Well, Mike Martinez, plenty of power behind those shots. You know, when you're so confident on the ground, it makes you feel more comfortable really letting loose in the feet.
100%. Yeah, you know you have a backup by hitting the ground. It gives him to work on. You don't got to worry too much about the takedown if you're comfortable off your back. These guys are landing huge shots. This fight might not get out of the first round.
Much like in that last fight, we've seen about 3 or 4 leg kicks now from Mike Martinez here in the first.
Good takedown right into an open guard. Doing a good job passing it. Posturing up a little bit.
So with about 1 minute and 15 seconds left, are we going to see the jiu-jitsu game of Mike Martinez? Here he is going for something with the arm. That Sambo-style armbar.
Pretty tight. Should be able to get out of it, and he is.
That was a really dangerous position there for Javier Garcia at the end. He started off great with those strikes early on, but Mike Martinez does a great job of adjusting partway through and turning the tide of that first round.
Yeah, we'll definitely see if there's some sort of adjustment from Garcia, because he was doing a good job on his feet, and then he got hit, and then he tried to take him down. But I'm sure he realizes now that going to the ground with Martinez can be a little dangerous. Like, you might want to keep it standing from here on out. That would be my coaching if I was Josh Barnett. I would say, hey, you did a great job on your feet.
All right,
you
ladies
got
and
rocked a
gentlemen,
few
we'd like
times,
everyone in attendance
you know,
to,
try to keep your hands
if they
up,
have a
keep
chance,
moving, and
sign
know,
up for the
be
free
careful if you hit the
raffle
ground.
by
If you hit the
Armbar
ground,
Nation.
try to
Give them
pass
your
the guard
name and
immediately,
email
but
address.
just be careful.
They're at a
And
table
we saw
close
how
to the
fast
entrance.
Mike
Also
Martinez,
receive 50%
from a
off
position
any
that
order
didn't
on their
seem to
website.
have an armbar available,
armbarnation.com.
made an armbar come out of nowhere. Very quick. I think Garcia was caught off guard in those moments.
Yeah, you know, brown belt is a high-level jiu-jitsu. You know, there's a certain level of craftiness that just starts coming out. You know, you start throwing your legs up. You got to be careful. You definitely got to be careful.
Well, Garcia in the past has shown that he's very clear-headed when he fights, has good decision-making skills. So I expect to see some good adjustments here in round number 2.
Yeah, we'll see if we'll see definitely what sort of adjustments both guys make, but I definitely think we're going to be seeing some striking off the bat. They both seem very comfortable on the feet.
Well, I love the way so far that Martinez has been changing levels. You know, you've seen him going to the body, going to the legs, going to the head, really just making sure that Javier does not know where those strikes are coming to.
Yeah, mixing it up is key. You want your opponent to be confused the whole time.
And now here we have Garcia, the aggressor, that 1-2 coming through one more time, and a nice kick to the body.
Nice kick, a nice little short hook.
That outside leg kick.
Yeah.
2 already here in round number 2.
I think Martinez realized that he could open up a little more on the feet, and because he knows he's got a little advantage on the ground. So and he was doing well last round, so I think he's opening up a little more, knowing that the fight does hit the ground. If he does rock him, he might be in a good position to finish.
Throwing that switch kick again is Mike Martinez, but good handwork from Garcia. Garcia starting to check those kicks a bit more, but those leg shots are just continuing to land. Good job checking 2 in a row, though.
Nice little right hook. Lands Garcia nicely, and another jab to follow up.
Now it looks like Garcia here goes for the takedown. He seems to be getting a little more tired, though, than Mike Martinez. It seems like Martinez might have the cardio advantage.
Guillotine. You gotta be careful like giving up his back. They are kind of sweaty. But does a good job of it. He's probably gonna end up in the top position. Could possibly take his back and transition to a rear naked.
You know, very confident in the ground game is Javier Garcia, training over there at CSW, but this is a dangerous place to be in with the brown belt, Mike Martinez.
Yeah, he's comfortable. He's moving really well, defending, doing some crafty defense. He's got a hold of the neck. We'll see if he tries to pull guard and lock something up.
Garcia going deep down for a single leg.
Yeah, might get it, actually. Chopping down pretty nicely.
Can he turn the corner and put Martinez on his back?
Just good defense, great sprawl, staying square with the head, and his back up to his feet, looking good.
What I love about Garcia here is even though he's getting tired, he clearly is the more tired of the 2 fighters. He's still coming forward, trying to push the pace, making sure that he's not giving any openings just because he's starting to lose some energy.
Exactly. Yeah, you know, I definitely think Garcia has to come out in this 3rd round and prove something. You know, the 1st round was decently close, but he did almost get caught in the armbar. In the 2nd round, kind of a toss-up here and there, but Martinez did control it a little more, landed some big shots. But you never know in MMA. We'll see.
Martinez finding some good purchase with that jab.
Yeah, we'll see if Garcia comes out just guns blazing. That would be my game plan. You know, if I was Josh, I would say, hey, 2 minutes left, push it. Push the pace, land some shots. You got nothing to lose. Just be careful getting taken down. I see Josh over there just giving him advice to throw big shots.
You know, other than the troubles with that 1-2, most of this has been pretty darn good for Mike Martinez so far.
Yeah, 100%. He's looking really, really good, actually. You know, I think he's in a little control, but this last round, you still gotta act as if you're down. Fight aggressively.
Well, 2 minutes left here in the 3rd round to see if Mike Martinez improves to 3-0, or will Javier Garcia get his 5th win inside the cage. Javier again with that 1-2. Mike trying to let loose with those kicks, but now Javier seems to be more onto them defending. Oh, there's a leg kick that didn't get checked.
And some good little hooks there. Tries a knee to the body.
Martinez feints a low kick.
Both guys do look a little winded. They're expending a lot of power, a lot of energy throwing these strikes.
Yeah, nothing here's been pitter-patter. It's been heavy strikes the whole way through here as we make our way to the final 6th minute of this fight.
Yeah, for Garcia, you know, he's throwing these 1 to 3 punch combinations. He needs to be going in there with 5, 6, 7 punch combinations.
Oh, big right counter from Mike Martinez.
Eats a big shot and asks for more. Nice trip, and he almost takes the back of Martinez, but Martinez does a good job of gaining position and gains a hold in the neck and takes his back almost.
Look at the body control of Mike Martinez. He really should have been taken down there.
Garcia has the ability to pop out and possibly take Martinez's back, but they're back up to their feet. Wow, Garcia just landed a very nice right hand over the top.
More kick to that lead leg here of Javier Garcia. Great job.
Good takedown. He's got to work from here. He's got a good job passing. He's got to get into at least a side control. Half guard is not going to cut it against this brown belt.
15 seconds left here.
He does a good job of taking his back. Now he's got to throw some big strikes. He's got to finish it here.
Martinez escapes, ends in top position. One more final takedown from Javier Garcia. Really great performance from both these guys.
Very evenly matched, I would say. Very, very evenly matched. You know, Martinez did seem to control a little more of the fight, but super even matched bout for sure.
You know, I'm really fascinated by how sort of the fight played out as we saw it coming. We talked before about those lead low kicks from Mike Martinez. he was throwing those a whole bunch. We saw him batter the front leg of Garcia. But at the same time, we talked about the danger of those low kicks, and that opened up the possibility for Garcia to keep landing that 1-2 over and over and over again.
Yeah, you know, and I always bring this up here. You know, that was a great fight. We only saw 6 minutes of these guys fighting. Imagine what these guys are going to do in the pros. You know, you have a little more time to work. Having 9 more minutes of fighting, you know, we might have a finish. It might play out a little differently.
Well, considering the way these guys were throwing so far, I think with an extra 9 minutes, someone would probably go down. You know, one thing I wish we had a chance to see more of was that fantastic jiu-jitsu game of Mike Martinez. So far, all of his fights have either been a TKO finish or a decision finish is going to be what happens here. But we saw flashes of that jiu-jitsu for moments, his ability to escape from positions, use those hips to create space, and even a moment where that submission looked dangerous there at the end of round number 1.
That was the closest we came to a finish in this fight for sure. You know, another 15, 20 seconds, probably going to have ourselves a finish. But clearly didn't happen.
Javier Garcia, though, the word from Josh Barnett was tenacity, and that's one thing we saw in this fight was the coming forward of Javier Garcia. No matter what the situation was, if he was getting tagged, if he was getting into submission danger, Javier, as you mentioned in the fight, he gets hit and he comes right back. He asks for more. Something that you can't teach that. That's just something you have or you don't.
Yeah, I'm sure he just wished he had maybe a little more wind in the gas tank to possibly muster up a finish and give out a little more at the end. But he's definitely game. You know, this is the time to work on things, and definitely did some work tonight.
Javier did mention before the fight tonight that the hardest part for him is cutting weight to get down to this 155. And those of you who don't know, in the amateur ranks, it's same-day weigh-ins. They don't have that 24 hours to rehydrate, to eat, and get your energy back up. So you gotta wonder what kind of a taxing effect that might have had on the cardio of Javier Garcia tonight.
Yeah, with these same-day weigh-ins, you know, if these guys are fighting pro, they might be fighting at 45. You know, when you have that full day extra to hydrate, you could lose a little more weight. But when you have the same-day weigh-ins, you can't sacrifice making the weight for your performance. You know, you gotta still be able to. You only get a little time to rehydrate, so you know, there's a big difference there. You definitely see a lot of amateurs fight different weight class when they're in the pros.
Well, we'll find out what's going to happen in just a moment here. Let's turn it over to the cage to get our official decision with Salvador Arellano.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecard. First judge scores a fight at 29-28 for Garcia. Second judge scores a fight 29-28 for Martinez. Third and final judge scores a fight 30-27 for the winner by split decision. Out of the red corner, Javier Garcia.
Give it up for your winner, Javier. How you doing? Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm doing good.
I would imagine. That was a really close fight. And coming into the 3rd round, it could have been anybody's fight. What did you and your corner talk about coming into it?
They just told me to keep pushing. It looked like he was getting tired. So when you see your opponent start to get tired, that's when you pour it all out.
Nice. Who do you want to thank for coming out to support you?
I want to thank all my family and friends, which are in that corner right there. I want to thank my whole new school, CSW, for taking me on as part of their team, Josh Barnett. Just everybody that's helped me to get to here. Thanks a lot.
Let's give it up for him, Javier Garcia!
Your winner by split decision, Javier Garcia.